So since I moved from Los Angeles to Maui back in December of 2018, I thought it would be interesting to make a video talking about some of the things that I noticed about living on Maui. Since I've been here for the last 7 months and most people just show up, vacation here, and then leave, I thought it would be interesting to have an LA native's perspective about what it's like to live on Maui. So one of the things that I noticed about living here is that it's very Blue Lagoon for me. I go back to visit my friends and family in LA about every couple of months. And since I have had the opportunity to go back and forth a few times, I noticed the dynamic is really interesting where I'll literally shed my city clothes, put on my bikini, and just walk into the ocean here and just literally melt into Mother Earth. It's like I just become one with Mother Earth again, and it just feels like a very Blue Lagoon type of energy, just becoming one with nature and the earth. And so it's just such a completely different dynamic to put on my ripped jeans and my boots and walk around LA and then come here and just shed all of that and just walk into the water and just melt. It's an interesting dynamic that I noticed, just very, very different between the two places. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about as far as what I noticed about this place is the birds. The birds are a different breed, man. Boy, do they have attitudes. I'm driving down the street and these birds are walking across and they're just so you're not going to hit me. In Los Angeles, if the pigeons see your car coming, they're like, oh, hell no. And they fly out of there immediately. They're like, this person's going to kill me. I'm going to turn into a freaking pancake. So the birds just immediately fly away, right? The birds out here just look at you whatever. And they keep walking across the street just slowly. You literally have to come to a complete stop and wait for them. They don't care. And they'll sit there and they'll be they'll take their wings and go like this. They'll literally just give you the middle wing. They totally just don't care that you're waiting. And they don't fly away. They just slowly walk. If they walk, sometimes they just sit there. And in Hawaii, you're not supposed to honk your horn. Honking your horn out here is like giving somebody the middle finger. Other places, it's not a big deal, but out here, it's very offensive to honk your horn, so people don't do it. So I don't honk at people, but I'll honk at birds. I'll be like, move it, come on, guys, really? I swear to God, it must be the wind. It must be the wind out here, because I've seen birds, struggling to fly out here because the wind is so strong. The wind must just give them attitudes or something. I don't know. But they're just a different breed. And my worst experience was when I got attacked by a swan. And in my defense, this was not a Gloria Vanderbilt swan. This was a Costco swan. I mean, this dude was huge. And he just looked so snuggly and so fluffy and so soft that I really wanted him to be my boyfriend. So I started chatting him up and flirting with him. And I was, telling him that he was a supermodel and that he belonged on the cover of a magazine. And he walked up to me and kind of cocked his head sideways and he was looking at me. And I was like, ooh, we're having a moment. This guy's into it. I got a date tonight, right? It's on. It's on. He cocks his head to the side. Immediately just darts at my legs. And I scream and run away. I was like, ah! And I immediately ran away. But he literally tried to bite me. And so I was disappointed from the severe rejection from that swan. But, I don't know. I mean, there were signs posted and stuff saying that, the swans were not meant to be, played with or whatever, but I was going to prove him wrong. He just looked so snuggly to me that I really just wanted a boyfriend out of it, but I guess I probably should have paid attention to those signs in retrospect, because they really weren't that friendly, to be honest. Also came across a couple ducks that I thought were fighting. It turns out they were mating, Christian Grey style. And that was disturbing for me. So I pushed one of them off the other one, and then they got mad. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the birds out here, but we're just not on the same page. There's roosters all over the Target parking lot. I don't know. I think I'm gonna try to back away from that for now, because it's not really working, to be honest. We're just not simpatico. We're not getting along. So the first thing is, the other thing that I noticed about coming to Maui is the energy. The energy is completely different from LA. People think slower, talk slower, move slower. That's why people come here for vacation, right? They want the slower pace and they want that island mentality because it's very calming and relaxing, and that's the best part of being here, I have to say. As a professional intuitive, you want to slow down mentally so that you can allow your angels to send you messages. So that's why this is the perfect place to meditate and connect with the other side. Hawaii is very high vibe for that. So the fact that we do have a different energy and a slower pace, it definitely helps you connect with the other side. But yeah, people take their time here. And I did notice that in the beginning where I was like, oh my God, everyone's like so slow. And I don't notice it anymore. And I know they didn't speed up, which means I slowed down. And that's perfectly fine with me. No problem. Great place to be. Take your time. You know, what's the hurry? What's the rush? Along those same lines, that's one of the things that I noticed carrying over into the customer service. The customer service out here is awesome. People really take their time with you. And I noticed this firsthand when I was buying a shirt from a store and I started chatting up the cashier and we were just, talking back and forth and I was like, yeah, I don't know if this top is really me, but whatever. I'm just giving into the trend. She's like, ah. So we're just chatting. I pay. I turn around to walk out. There's 10 people in line behind me. And I was like, oh my God. Why didn't the cashier end the conversation, right? Like normally the cashier would just end the conversation and be like, okay, well, have a nice day, bye-bye, to try to like usher me out of there so that she can get to all the people in line behind me. They don't really do that here, I noticed. There'll be like 10 people in line at the grocery store. They won't do that. They won't just usher you through. They'll take their time and they'll chat you up and they'll really connect with you and talk to you. And I like that because I know that when I get up to the cashier, they're going to treat me the same way. And it's pretty nice. It's very friendly and very nice and just warm. It feels very warm and not as dismissive. But yeah, I was a little surprised I didn't get a baseball bat to the back of my head or at least some like coughing or throat clearing or like move it, They were just standing there waiting for me to finish my conversation. Very respectful. Okay, and so I wanted to talk about some of the things that I noticed about the people here. They are very warm and friendly. And, I noticed that there's not a whole lot of ego here either. Even the people that I would expect to have a big ego do not have a big ego. Like the tennis pros that I take tennis lessons from, God, they're so good at what they do and they're so talented, but they just don't have these huge egos. They're just very down to earth and grounded and friendly and nice and yeah, just, I don't know, approachable is what I've noticed. And another thing I noticed is that people here are very patient. They don't really let things get to them. And it's because of the slower pace. They just don't rush you. They don't move you along. You don't get honked at while you're driving. You don't get yelled at. It's like you're allowed to take your time here. And I noticed that when I go back to LA, I'll see people getting really frustrated at stuff. And I'm just like, I noticed that Maui has made me more patient. Maui has definitely made me more patient. It's like, things just don't get to me. It's like, what's the rush? Take your time. No hurry. No worries. So yeah, Maui makes you more patient. Another thing that's, again, fantastic for me as a professional psychic medium is the spiritual culture. Obviously, the first thing out of people's mouths, oftentimes when they meet me, is, so what do you do? Oh, I'm a psychic. Oh, wow, that's great, blah, blah, blah. And they want to talk about it, and they don't get weirded out, they don't get freaked out, they don't get quiet or uncomfortable. They're totally into it, and I love that. I just feel so accepted, and it just feels like this warm energy. I mean, I could be at a restaurant, at the bar, like eating a salad, and I will meet the most conservative-looking, buttoned-up woman, and she'll, hear I'm a psychic and then start talking to me about the higher self. And I'll be like, really? You know what the higher self is? Cool. And so we start chit-chatting, and yeah, I was pleasantly surprised by that, how open-minded people are here. And yeah, there's an area here called Paia that's where a lot of psychics live. So I'm in good company here. Warm fuzzies all the way around. Another thing that, of course, I can't leave out because eating is my favorite pastime is the food. The cuisine here is awesome. Of course, fresh seafood galore, which I love. I'm a huge fan of seafood. And the last time I was in LA, my parents gave me this article from the LA Times called Eat Your Way Around Maui. No problem. You don't have to ask twice. I am happy to do that. But yeah, you've got those amazing salads and just like the light island fare, which I can't live without. I love it. The food here just, yeah. I'll eat my way around Maui all day, every day. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the ocean, which is of course why people come here a lot, is because of the beaches. The ocean just embraces you like a warm blanket. You just put on your bathing suit and you walk in there and it's just this warm embrace. The water is like room temperature. It's clean, it's fresh. You can see to the bottom. The snorkeling here is fantastic. The surfing here is fantastic. I took a lesson. That was really fun. It's just, the ocean here just feels like a jacuzzi. It's so different. The water's very calm. It's just, it's just amazing. It's beautiful. And another thing is I find it very spiritually cleansing to go into the ocean. I think that'll raise your vibration literally for like the rest of the week. If you just go in the ocean once, that'll raise your vibration for the rest of the week. It's just so cleansing and you feel fantastic and just so uplifted. And also I noticed the clean air and water. My hair is cleaner. My skin feels cleaner. Just the showers here and just the air and the water. My lungs are happier here. I notice a big difference there as well. Another thing is the weather here is amazing. It's so mild that when I went back to LA for Christmas in December and it was like 50, I was just freezing. I got off the plane and I was like, oh my God, it's freezing. I mean, I may as well have been in, Big Bear, but I was like, oh my God, it's freezing. I mean, because you get so used to the mild temperatures out here. You go inside, it's room temperature. You go outside, it's room temperature. It's so mild that the air just embraces you. So when you go somewhere where the temperature is a lot lower, you feel it. You feel it hardcore because you get used to this weather being so mild. And another thing about this mild weather that just really gets me is that you can stay out all night and never even put on a sweater. It's just, it can be like, 80 degrees like all night long and just no sweater, just nice and warm, walking around, whatever. You don't need suntan lotion because it's at night, so I really like going swimming at night. Going swimming at night is really fun. It's not cold. There's no, huge breeze that kicked up. It's not cold. It's still really, really the perfect time to go swimming is at night. And just taking walks at night and watching the sunset. I mean, it's extremely romantic for a single woman with no boyfriend. I definitely need a boyfriend here. But that's the greatest part, is just these warm evenings. During the day, it's a little crazy, right? Because we're getting into July right now. And it's a little crazy. It's like 90 during the day, and you need a lot of sunblock. And it's really hot. But when that sun starts going down, that's when everything just, I don't know, it's just so perfect and romantic. Very, very romantic. And the humidity here has been a little crazy too. It's literally like New Orleans, but I like it because it's good for your hair, your skin, your eyes. Yeah, I think humidity is good for you. So you feel it when you get off the plane, but then you get used to it and you don't feel it anymore. Okay, another thing that I noticed that was really crazy when I first moved here were the trade winds. The air in LA is very still. So when I came here and experienced the trade winds, I was like, what the hell? My hair's blowing all over the place. My skirt's blowing like up above my head. The trade winds were crazy and really strong. The birds are having problems flying, which is probably why they're so attitudinal. The trade winds were so powerful. And I noticed that when it would rain, I'd like bust out my umbrella. I'd be like, no problem, I have an umbrella. And then the trade winds would just blow the rain like straight into my face. Just like, pfft. You can't win. That's another difference between LA and here, is that in LA, when it rains, it commits to like all day. I mean, it's raining all day in LA. Here, it rains for 5 minutes and then it just stops. So the storms are really brief. But yeah, when those trade winds kick up, your umbrella is completely useless. I mean, the wind's just going to blow the rain right into you. So I had to get used to that. Forget hairspray, that's not going to work. But that's another reason why this place is so beautiful and so green, why there's so many beautiful flowers and trees and foliage, because of the rain. that tropical rain keeps everything looking amazing and green. It's beautiful here. Okay, so another thing I noticed is the crowds, or lack thereof. Things here really just aren't that crowded, man. I play tennis for an hour and a half. You know, my tennis lesson is like an hour and a half long, and they run my butt up and down the court for an hour and a half, and I'm just wrecked after. in this heat, I'm just wrecked after, and I want nothing more than just sit and rot in an air-conditioned, dark movie theater. And I can. There's, you know, if I go to a movie theater, there's always a seat. If I go to a restaurant, there's always a table. If I go to a store, it's not crowded. It's just not as crowded here. I notice I have easier access to things. It's easier to run your errands. It's easier to get things done. Yeah, it's just not as congested, and it's easier to maneuver around. I noticed that there's also, you know, a lot more land here. Things are more spread out. So, yeah. It's just easier that way too. You have access to stuff, you know. Another thing I noticed is the music here is amazing. I really like the radio stations. It took me a while to discover them and figure out which ones I liked, but I really like the radio stations here. One of my favorite things to do is just to cruise around the island listening to music. It's very, very relaxing. So I'll drive, you know, to the other side of the island and just, you know, cruise, listen to music, have my decaf coffee, and just kick back and relax. And I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do here. So, yeah, I love the music here. I love the radio stations here on the island. They're awesome. I also can't end this video without bringing up my favorite thing in the world, is jewelry. And the other side actually thinks this is very cute. They find it very amusing that I'm so obsessed with jewelry, probably because it's God's metals, God's stones, crystals, etc. Jewelry comes from God, right? So the other side is very flattered by my love of jewelry, but of course the jewelry out here is even more beautiful with, like, you know, the black pearls and just the amazing designs, and all the jewelry stores out here are aplenty. So yeah, I'm in peanut heaven in the jewelry department out here. I couldn't be happier with that. I gotta tell you, for sure, I'm very happy with jewelry. So this is pretty much what I wanted to share, just a few things that I noticed about living on beautiful Maui. I was divinely guided to live here, and after being here for 7 months, I know why. It's very clear. Christine plus Maui equals love. I love being here. I love living here. I don't know how long I'm supposed to be here, but I'm definitely supposed to be here for now, and I absolutely love it and adore it. And I definitely miss my friends and family in LA, but obviously they're not too shy about visiting either. When you live in a destination like this, they'll definitely come to you as well. So I hope you found this video enlightening, and in the meantime, take care and be well. Aloha.